guys, welcome to Claret Blue Eyes, and today I have two special guests, Zoe and Noodles, and as you can see, they are Villa supporters. They're so excited about the new season, they just ran off. So guys, today was the transfer deadline, and we know it's always an exciting time. Now, Villa actually, we were all hoping, expecting that maybe we were going to hear news of another striker signed today, but unfortunately we did not hear that news. But you know what? I think that's okay. I think we went about business the right way. We got our 12 players at the beginning of the transfer window. We did great business. We, got in those. We transferred those loan players to permanent players. Last week, we got in Tom Heaton. I think we can rest okay that we did not bring in someone else today, and let all the other clubs do their, frantic last minute deals. So because we didn't bring in another striker, we are primarily gonna have to rely on Big Wes and hope that he can adjust to Premier League life straight away. We know that he scored a few goals in pre-season. We've seen glimmers of hope. We've seen that there's potential. We've heard that there's potential. The statistics, the reports. So there is definitely hope there. I know some people are likening him to Benteke, calling him Benteke number 2. But you know what? He is Big Wes. He's not Benteke. He is Big Wes. And, we're hopeful that he's going to do even greater things than Benteke did. All right, so we still have Kodja as a backup striker for Wes, and it's interesting that he hasn't gone out on loan. So I think that Dean Smith is probably hoping to use him as a backup, and we'll see what he can do. We know last season, he was injured at the beginning of the season, and he. I think minutes played were about 2,042, and in that time he did get 9 goals and 2 assists. So definitely, we'll see what he can do. But then the great thing as well about having Big Wes is we've got these creative midfielders and midfielders who can score. We see what Hurahan can do from a set piece. He has some great free kicks, and even last season he got about 8 goals, and I think it was about 10 or 11 assists. So he's someone who can, also provide some goals. Then you've got Grealish, who got 6 goals and 7 assists. John McGinn, who had 7 goals and 9 assists. And then El Ghazi with 6 goals and 6 assists. So we've still got, some great players in the team. And then not to mention, of course, we signed Hata and Trezeguet. So they're also, going to be on the wings and hopefully providing some support for Big Wes. So even though we didn't sign another striker specifically, I'm hopeful that we're still going to get goals from all over the pitch and not have to necessarily rely solely on Big Wes. But yeah, we'll definitely see how that goes. And we do know that there's always January, but of course we do not want to wait for January. But, it's just good to know that we do have other options, and, just having that midfield presence who can provide those goals and provide those supports, as provide the assists also. All right, so a big thing, not only is Aston Villa back in the Premier League, finally, after 3 seasons away, AWOL, they are back, but also VAR is here, which is something new to the Premier League. We know that it was a huge controversy in this Women's World Cup. Last year it featured in the Men's World Cup, and it seemed to run pretty well, and there didn't seem to be too many issues, but we definitely saw a lot of issues this time with the Women's World Cup, which was unfortunate. But I'm hoping that the Premier League is going to definitely emulate the VAR of the Men's World Cup, and that it won't interfere too much in our games and our play. But I think You know, there's been a lot of debate for many years now whether we should or should not have it. I know we first introduced the goal line technology, which, you know, was great because just even that smidgen of a ball, you know, not crossing the line, and of course it's not a goal, and you know, some games were truly won and lost, you know, because of that. So I think just kind of having as much help as we can, because the referee doesn't always see everything, the linesmen don't always see everything. So I think it is good to have the assistance of VAR, but hoping that, you know, it doesn't overtake the game and overtake the momentum of play, and that it can be used wisely. The good thing is the referee on the field still has the ultimate say when it comes to a game, and the ways that VAR will be used will be through goals, penalties, direct red cards, and mistaken identity, because we know, as ridiculous as it sounds, there have been some people who have had mistaken identity and been given a yellow or red card when they were not the ones who committed the foul. So those are the 4 areas that VAR will be used. So it will be interesting to see how that goes, and interesting to see how that really affects some games. And defenders definitely need to be very aware and very vigilant. Some of these tackles, and you know, some of the way that they're playing. So I do hope that you know, Aston Villa is ready for that. But again, you know, this is going to be something new to the whole Premier League, so not just new to Aston Villa. But it will be interesting to see how that goes this season, and let's hope that, you know, it does not spoil our beautiful game, but just enhances the quality of our game, and, you know, really just really get to see you know, the correct results, the correct outcomes, because of VAR. So while we're on the topic of VAR, there's also been some changes within the Premier League. For example, if there is a goal scored with the hand or the arm, even if it was by accident, it's actually going to be disallowed. So that's going to kind of, I suppose, take care of the controversy of, you know, was it on purpose, was it not, you know, hand of God issues. So that's really good. And then also players having to leave via the touch line or the goal line, you know, they have to leave to their nearest. And then I think also there's limitations now about attacking players in a wall of defensive players. So that's going to be interesting to see how we adapt to these new rules, and again, how that affects the game. Okay, so we've discussed, you know, in previous weeks, Aston Villa's big and wonderful transfers, and again, it's just been such an amazing summer, you know, one that we will not forget, and one that I think is going to be really beneficial and crucial in helping us stay in the Premier League. And you know, again, it's going to take time for this squad to kind of come together and gel together, but we already see great signs of that. And again, we still have, you know, the backbone of our team last season. You know, we have probably half the players that featured, so I don't think we have to be too worried like everyone is trying to make us worried. So what were some of the big transfers today? Well, I think 2 clubs that probably surprised me the most were Arsenal and Everton. And you know, we know that Arsenal really needed to do something. They have not made it in the top 4 for the past few seasons, and you know, no longer playing Champions League football. They lost to Chelsea in the Europa final. Unai Emery, you know, had his first season with Arsenal, and you know, he needed to do something. So he has brought in Luiz from Chelsea, which was very interesting. Definitely, you know, they needed some support in the back, but I don't know, because he can be inconsistent at times. But, you know, maybe his maturity, you know, his experience in the Premier League, maybe that will be able to help them. They also got Tierney from Celtic. They got Pepe, which was an immense signing, and that's going to be really great to see him link up with Lacazette and Aubameyang. And they also got Sabella and Ceballos. So some great signings for Arsenal. Let's see what Unai Emery can do with them, and how he can, you know, fight for that top 4 spot again. But definitely another contender who is trying to break into that top 6, top 4 is Everton. And, you know, we know that they lost a great player in Idrissa Gueye, but they gained Delph, definitely not like for like, but hey, probably, hopefully the experience of Delph, you know, he's played many years in the Premier League, can help them. Then they also, they got Moise Kean from Juventus, which, you know, is really hopefully going to be a great signing over the next few years. He's still a young player who's developing, but has a lot of potential. They also got Gomez from Barcelona. And they got today, deadline day, they got Iwobi from Arsenal, which was actually a great signing. I know a lot of fans were surprised by that. But, you know, apparently he was one of their main targets, a young player, nephew of the famous JJ Okocha, you know, has been doing well for the Nigerian national team as well. So definitely, you know, a bright future for him. And let's see how he really gets on at Everton. Let's see, Spurs. We know that Spurs are notorious for not signing players, but believe it or not, they actually have signed some players this season. We know they could not get Jack Grealish last season, but they did actually capture Sessegnon today. Now, granted, I don't think he had the best season at Fulham last season, but we've seen that there is potential. So hopefully, you know, he'll be able to add to their team. It looked like Eriksen may have gone the other way, but he's still here for now. We know that the transfer market for Spain and France and Germany and Italy stays open a little bit longer. So there is a chance he could still move out, but maybe, you know, having brought in these new additions, they also got Ndombele. So, you know, maybe these new additions will be able to keep Eriksen there. So we'll see what happens there. But, you know, we know they had a great season last year, finished fourth, made Champions League football again, and actually made it to the Champions League final. So we'll see what they can do this season. Not much not much news from Liverpool and Manchester City, surprisingly, knowing that they are the big two teams right now and are really you know, really creating a fierce rivalry. I think this is the new rivalry of the Premier League, the Sky Blue v the Reds, and we saw it last season. Just 1 point separated them for the Premier League title, and you know, we know Liverpool did actually go on to win the Champions League, which was amazing, and you know, Man City won the Premier League second year in a row, so they're going for third year now, they're going for the treble. Last year they won the domestic treble. So, you know, lots of great things going on with both of these teams. I suppose the good thing for Liverpool is that they did not lose anyone. They still have Mane, they still have Salah, they still have Firmino. You know, Oxlade and Chamberlain is back, so maybe that would be like a new sign-in. Lallana. You know, so, you know, I think they will continue to build on the success that they have had this past season. And same with Man City. Even though Man City did add a few people, they got Rodri, which is a great defensive midfielder, and I know kind of will play that similar role to Fernandinho. And Cancelo, also a centre-back. Now, they have lost Vincent Kompany, and, you know, even though I'm an Aston Villa supporter, I definitely was a big fan of Vincent Kompany, and, you know, it's great that he's gone on to managing in Europe, but I wonder how that will affect them, because he definitely was a great leader on and off the pitch. But with De Bruyne also back from injury, that is going to be like a new signing, and I think, you know, I think they are... Man City and Liverpool are still going to be the teams to beat this Premier League, and they're really going to go at it, and definitely is going to be between the two of them. Then on the other side of Manchester, you've got the Red Devils, Manchester United, and we know the whole saga was Lukaku going to stay? Was he going to go? He left, they took the money, you know, it was right. He wanted to go, they let him, they got the money. You know, and they got Wan-Bissaka and they got Maguire. So they have strengthened their defense, which was important that they did that. They kept Pogba, so that's interesting, because there was a lot of speculation that he was going to leave. So it's going to be interesting to see what Solskjaer does with this team, because, you know, based on their, you know, final games of the season, a lot of people felt like it was a premature appointment. So let's see if he can really turn things around and break into that top four again. Has he done enough? I think, you know, they probably needed to strengthen the squad more, but, you know, we will see how that works out. And So yeah, any other note, and Chelsea, of course, they had their transfer embargo and could not sign anybody. However, lucky for Chelsea, they had about 9 players who were on loan. And of course, for all the Aston Villa fans out there, the most notable for us was Tammy Abraham, who was, did such a great job last season. I think it was 26 goals. So once again, proven himself in the championship. And of course, Chelsea have no other option than to, recall him back to Chelsea. Now, I wonder if they could sign players, would they have let him go out on another season loan or maybe sold him? We don't know. But then again, of course, with Frank Lampard now being the coach, it looks like he's ready to invest in these youth. Mount is back, Pulisic is back, Kennedy is back, Zuma is back, Bakayoko. So a lot of young players that are back in the squad and that Chelsea are actually going to have to rely on and develop. So I think a lot of these players have had some good loan spells. So, we'll see what they do for Chelsea this season, and especially also playing in the Champions League. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And it's good just to look at all these various teams, because these are going to be Aston Villa's opponents this season. So it's going to be interesting playing these top teams. And I think it was just great that last year, the Premier League kind of really got back to the powerhouse that it is, having 2 finalists in the Champions Leagues, having 2 finalists in the Europa League. I mean, that was absolutely incredible. So the caliber of teams and players that we're going to be facing is going to be very, very immense. So we've spoken about the transfers and, Aston Villa's opponents, and it's great that they are back and playing these teams and again where they belong. But let's also speak about something fun. Fantasy football. I am so excited that I can finally put Aston Villa players back in my fantasy football team. So a few people have asked me, hey, who should I pick? Non-Villa fans. And definitely I said a great option would be either Grealish or McGinn. I'm actually still torn between which one to choose there in the midfield. Both of them cost about $7 million, so that's a great option. Or is it pounds? Either one, I'm getting my currencies confused, but they are both great options. Both of them last season scored 7 or 8 goals, and same got about 7 or 8 assists. So they're definitely and McGinn had the goal of the season last season. So both have the potential to score great goals and be creative, and they will feature heavily this season. So they are 2 great options going forward. Maybe Big Wes. He's only $6,000 at the 6 million. So, again, we don't know how he's going to adapt to Premier League life and how long it's going to take him. But, for 6 million, he would definitely be a bench option until he does start scoring. And then at the back, we know that Mings has been a solid defender. But there's also, Gilbert, who can play on the right back and, can, be up and down that right wing. So he would be an option also. So, yeah, there's a few good options for fantasy football if you're looking for Aston Villa players to fill your squad. And our first game of the season kicks off on Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time for those of you who are in the United States of America, and that will be on NBC. It will actually be on the regular NBC channel, so hopefully there will be some new football fans watching and gravitate to want to support Aston Villa. They're going to play Spurs. They are going to play Spurs at their new stadium. So for all the fans traveling there, I hope it's a great experience. But more so, I hope it's a great first game. Lots of people are thinking that Spurs are going to beat us easily, but you know what? I'm thinking we could pull off a good draw. I think we're going to give it a very, very good go. We might even be able to surprise Spurs. Yes, Kane is back in the squad, but they are missing Son. He's still out for suspension last season. Dele Alli is injured, and then also at right back they have Walker Peters, who maybe we can exploit a little bit there. I know they have Danny Rose on the left back, and there was talk of him going to Watford, so he's stayed there. So their defense, We've got our creative wingers, so maybe we can do something. Maybe we can surprise Spurs. We don't know how many of their new players are going to start. You know, this is the first game of the season. They haven't had time to train or play with them. So, you know, I think we can go and give it a good go, and I think that we can even beat them. So that's exciting, and definitely for those of you who are on the Aston Villa America Facebook page, please look. Everyone is going to be posting where you can watch the game from state to state. And again, if you are not a member of an Aston Villa Lions Club, please do remember to sign up for an Aston Villa Lions Club. And before I want to leave you, I just want to remind you that next month is the 7th annual North America meetup in San Francisco. Rick has an amazing itinerary planned for you guys, and Monday the game is going to be against West Ham. So please, if you haven't signed up for that, please do sign up. If you want more information, please let me know. But again, just an opportunity to come together, not only watch the game, but just really come together as fans in North America. And of course, we invite anyone from the UK or Europe, anywhere in the world, to come and join us. We have an auction where we raise money for Acorns, and we raise an enormous amount of money through our auction and through raffles and just through crazy things. So you know, please, you don't want to miss that. That's going to be an amazing time. And you know, I look forward to seeing the reaction of the game on Saturday. So up the Villa.